If you're like me and you've done some SmartForm development, you'll know it's a great platform that can knock simple things out really quickly. But as soon as you advance, debugging SmartForms can get really hard, and switching between the designer and runtime is time-consuming. I've spent a good portion of the last 5 years building SmartForms, and out of that I've developed the SmartForm Assistant to help you debug SmartForms, and I'd like to show you how it works. Let's debug this Smart Start leave request. You don't need to modify your forms, just install the Assistant Chrome extension, press F12 for Chrome's Dev Tools, and select the SF Assist tab. Now I'm a dev and not a designer, so the UI needs a little love, but let's check out the features. There are 3 main tabs: the Data Explorer, Rules, and Events. Under the hood, your form's got these big XML files that describe the layout and the rules of the form. If you've ever used the logging feature, you've seen the raw output of those complicated files, but it's possible to make that easier to understand. Data Explorer shows you the form, views, controls, and all their properties, which lets you quickly check a property at runtime. If I open this navigation view, we can see the controls, and as I mouse over each control, it's highlighted on the form. If I right-click a control and select Definition, it gets selected in the Explorer. You can modify data labels at runtime, which is really helpful if you need to reset a hidden data label without reloading the form. You can check the current value of parameters, which lets you know if you've accidentally transferred an invalid value. And if there are expressions, the name of the expression isn't available in the runtime XML, but you can see the formula and calculate the current value. The Assistant lets you look at the underlying dataset object. By clicking on a SmartForm object, you'll see its data, which is very useful if you want to examine a hidden field that a conditional style might be bound to. Now let's look at the Rules tab. This shows all the rules in the forms and views, but not a subform or a subview. Here's the same form in the editor, and you can see the rules here and then back in the Assistant. The format's a little different than the designer, but this allows you to quickly drill all the way down to configuration in every rule, even from the form level. And you can search, which is a real lifesaver when you've got a complex form and you're looking for something. If a rule calls an event and you click that item, it will take you to the referenced event. If we go back to the Data Explorer and click a control, we can see the rules that reference the control. Click the rule and you'll see its configuration. In a similar manner, if we right-click a control on the page and select Related Rules, we get a list of the events related to that control. The main reason I wrote the Assistant is for the Events tab. This shows all the events as they occur in order, which lets you follow them, especially when one event calls another event. All the variables, views, and forms are translated from those confusing GUIDs back into their familiar names, which makes a significant difference when you're reviewing events. One of my favorite features of the Assistant is the ability to see the parameters passed to a smart object call. The time this saves cannot be underestimated. Adding message boxes, running SQL Profiler, or modifying stored procedures to trap and view parameters is extremely unproductive, and this makes it effortless to be able to see the values you're sending. The extension is complete, but it requires a final round of testing before it's published in the Chrome store. Once that is done, I'll leave more information, and I hope that it will improve your development experience as much as it has mine.